Make no mistake about it, the NFL and the national media hate what Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos are doing, and I can't stand for it anymore. We are going to break down some of the slanderous things that have just been recently just made up and thrown out on Twitter. An article today that just like made me want to punch someone in the face, but I can't because I had a hand injury slicing sweet potatoes that if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, you know this is not healing very well. That's why my jump shot at the end has been a little off. If you're new to the channel, I'm Ben. I break down all things Denver sports. If you like the Denver Broncos as well, and you will not stand for really like this slanderous talk about our team, it helps me out a lot if you would hit that like and subscribe button. And so we're really going to dive into it. So I think a lot of this is motivated by the fact that folks are starting to see that Bo Nix really is him. He has all of the tools that he needs. We saw yesterday in the press conference, Sean Payton compared him to Drew Brees. They asked him, hey, after being with Bo Nix for a couple of weeks, what similarities do you see in Bo Nix and Drew Brees? Sean Payton easily could have just said, yeah, I don't want to put that kind of pressure on anybody. They're very different guys, but we're really happy to have Bo. No, that's not what he said. He instead went on to identify all of the things that they have in common, which is their love of the game, their smarts, their accuracy. And then when you take that back to how Sean Payton talked about how he's looking for a quarterback going up to the draft, those were the three most important things he said he's looking for in a quarterback. So the three most important things he wanted in a quarterback, he got in a quarterback. Yet all of these national pundits want to be able to say that like their draft board going into the draft makes sense. And that they said, oh, Bo Nix is a second or third round talent. And they don't want him to just fall in Sean Payton's lap. They don't want Sean Payton to not have to give up anything and get a future Drew Brees. Then the other reason I think this has maybe motivated some of this hate that we're seeing is I think they want drama. They love that Russell Wilson had his own film crew, and we knew everything happening in Broncos camp, and then they can take those little snippets and spread it however they want, have content for NFL Live and all of that. And instead, we see that Sean Payton has completely battened down the hatches at Dove Valley. And the only time you hear from them is when he opens the doors and says, come on in, media. And that is driving them absolutely crazy that they were wrong about Bo Nix. They have some leftover hate about Bountygate, which every team in the NFL had some sort of big hit pot where everyone put in money, and if you had a huge hit, you got paid out. And so all of that is motivating them to straight up lie on occasion and then just make up some of the craziest falsities that you've ever seen. And so the one that is getting me just like off the wall upset today is this one today published in the USA Today, which used to be a very reputable news source. And now what we're seeing is that Bo Nix is the favorite to become the Denver Broncos quarterback that Sean Payton throws under the bus in 2024. Firstly, Sean Payton will not throw Bo Nix under the bus. You just even watch Drew Brees' Hall of Fame acceptance speech, and Drew Brees goes into the Hall of Fame and talked about how he could barely throw the ball his last year in New Orleans. Did we ever hear Sean Payton say a single bad word about Drew Brees? No, he was riding him out, and Drew Brees was his guy, and so he stuck with him. Even with the Russell Wilson stuff, I think he handled it in a pretty good manner other than that one sideline blow up, which was at the back half of the season when we had a shot at the playoffs and Russ just couldn't execute a system. Sean Payton does not throw guys under the bus. If he did throw guys under the bus, would we have all of these guys from New Orleans come jumping on our team? We've had multiple guys this year who had offers on other teams that they accepted, and the tweet went out from Woj or Adam Schefter like, hey, Will Lutz is going to the Jaguars. And then he was like, psych, I'm coming back to be with Sean Payton. Sean Payton is a player's coach. He's wearing different pairs of Jordans to every practice. He's got the Bill Parcells structure and brilliance with a modern day flair that players like. He brings in Club Dub, where he invested in like a $50,000 sound system that he takes on every road game so that when the Broncos win on the road, he drops it like it is crazy, crazy hot. So here's this article, and the things in it that just made me furious. First off, there's so many slaps across the face. The Broncos are in dire straits. No, we weren't. We won 8 games last year with Russell Wilson, who could not run his system. And then we've gotten better at every single position that you can even think of. On top of that, saying Sean Payton's on the hot seat. He's not on the hot seat. There's no way that's even true. And then here was the thing right here. If Nick struggles, which is understandable because he's a rookie on an awful team. So tell me, how does an awful team hold Mahomes to 17 points one game and 9 points the next game, beat Buffalo on the road, win against 5 playoff teams? We're not an awful team. And so to say this kind of slanderous garbage just makes me want to punch him right in the mouth. I don't even know. He probably is bigger than me. Just guessing, just a wild speculation. But with all y'all having my back, I like my chances. All right. So then here, and actually guys who are know what they're talking about. Baldy went on the DNVR podcast. I love what they're doing at DNVR. Those guys are fantastic. If you haven't gone to DNVR bar and you're in Denver, go check it out. I got to watch game 7 of the finals last year there, and it was like one of the coolest experiences of my life. But what he said is, hey, Bo Nix is really ahead of schedule, and if he wasn't, Sean Payton wouldn't just be giving out flowers just to give out flowers. That's not Sean Payton's way. And so you see here, this is the, here's him wearing J's. Here's the tweet I'm talking about where the national media is straight up making up stuff, making up controversy because they want their pre-draft grade of Bo Nix to matter. They want to, all the joking they did about how Sean Payton made his evaluation of Bo Nix based on what was in his backpack. We know that's just not true, but they like to slander him. And so now they're trying to drum up controversy saying that Zach Wilson is taking snaps with the first team. We know, if we've been following anything, that Sean Payton has been doing a rotation and that Zach Wilson has actually looked worse than everyone. And so they're starting to try to throw these lies out there like, oh, there's quarterback controversy brewing in Denver. Sean Payton's already preparing to throw Bo Nix under the bus and all that kind of stuff. I just can't stand for it anymore. And I have a whole folder on my desktop, 1 of pictures of Bo Nix, just because I like what I see. And 2, it's all of the screenshots of all these national outlets that I cannot wait when the Denver Broncos make the playoffs this year to just throw back in their face and say, we won't forgive you and we won't read you anymore. And I need to turn off my alert for Denver Broncos because this kind of stuff is getting very, very old. Speaking of very, very old, the only sad thing I've seen out of OTAs is this picture here of John Elway. One of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, idolized him growing up. And it just like lets me know how old I'm getting because I just feel like he went from being cool and young looking to now, I don't know, was this picture shocking to any of you to see John Elway? It almost looks like they threw it in AI and said, make John Elway look old, or maybe we're just getting old here in Denver if we remember him in his glory days. But good to see that he is still a part of this. I think John Elway, we would never have won, obviously, all 3 of our Super Bowls. He was intricately a part of. He was incredible at bringing free agents in. He really struggled with the draft, and I think towards the end of his tenure in Denver, he kind of lost his fastball, and I think a lot of the bad deals we got in maybe even started with him from some of the things I read. But very curious, how do you all handle reading some of this like slanderous garbage, and how should I respond? And should I at that guy? And if he does try to fight me, will you have my back? You know what? I know you will, because I believe. Oh, that one, that felt good. I was going to bet my house on that one.